If you think visceral fat is just belly fat, you are already losing. Visceral fat is the fat wrapped around your organs, which means your liver, your pancreas, and your intestines. It drives inflammation, insulin resistance, lower testosterone, poor sleep, and long term disease. And here's the uncomfortable truth: you do not lose visceral fat by only eating quote unquote healthy. You lose it a lot faster by eliminating the foods that block fat loss entirely. So in today's video, I'm going to break down the 5 specific foods that you must avoid if you want to kill your visceral fat. So before we get into it, just some quick context here. The subcutaneous fat, which is the pinchable fat under your skin, like your love handles, for example, this is cosmetic. Whereas visceral fat, which is the dangerous, deep fat surrounding your internal organs, that is metabolic. It actively releases inflammatory compounds and worsens insulin sensitivity. And I know that sounds horrible, but here's the good news. Visceral fat is extremely responsive when you remove the right triggers. So let's start with the worst offenders. Here are the 5 foods that you must avoid to kill your visceral fat. Food number 1 is alcohol. A lot of people know alcohol isn't the best drink to consume. But alcohol is so much more than just the empty calories. It is also a fat-burning shutdown switch. Because when alcohol enters your system, your body prioritizes detoxifying it ASAP right away, which means that fat oxidation stops completely. Everything else you eat will get stored, and especially as visceral fat. And on top of that too, a lot of people notice, but alcohol raises your cortisol, your stress levels. It can disrupt your sleep, so you have poor nights of sleep, and it also promotes fatty liver development. And studies consistently show that even moderate alcohol intake is associated with higher visceral fat levels. And so instead of our coaching program, this is always the first step that we do. We either have people who join our program completely eliminate it or just remove it temporarily. And what we notice is that their waist measurements starts dropping within weeks. Not months, but weeks, which is pretty awesome. Now, we don't remove it forever though, because that's not enjoyable, just living life without ever having alcohol or whatever drinks that you enjoy. But just through this first initial starting phase, because just until your body is metabolically healthy again, this is always the quickest win that we find. And I think completely eliminating something can be a lot harder compared to replacing it. So we don't just eliminate it, we replace it with something else. So a couple of good options here could be sparkling water, diet soda, herbal tea, or green tea. Like, we live in a world where, yes, it could not be any easier to be fat, be out of shape, be obese. But we also live in a really interesting world where whatever bad habit you have right now, you could very easily replace with good habits, or at least with better alternatives. I'm going to touch on this later on in today's video, but a lot of people who still drink sugary soda, or once again, like alcohol, like, yes, we can do that, but there are alternatives out there. Instead of having regular beer, go for light beer. Instead of having regular soda, go for diet soda. And yeah, sure, it may not taste exactly the same, but given the amount of calories that you'll be saving, at least for me, like, that is worth the trade-off. And you're going to be far healthier, and you still get to socialize. You still get to go out, do whatever you want to do. Wow. Still having a lower calorie alternative. And I say this all the time, but your taste buds, they'll get used to it. Like, don't even worry about that. Like, I used to be a chubby kid growing up, and I thought for the rest of my life, like, I was going to be eating junk food because it was so tasty. And I was like, how does this doesn't even compare. Like, how does a piece of fruit compare to banana bread or cookies or cake? Like, it just doesn't compare. right? Like you would far much rather have the cookie, have the processed food, because it's 10 times tastier. But then how am I here sitting talking to you guys, literally saying that, hey, I now actually favor eating fruits over these processed foods. I love eating vegetables. I love eating protein, chicken breast over hot dogs, hamburgers, cheeseburgers. How am I able to do that? Because my taste buds adjusted. It took some time. Of course, anything worth having does take time. I'm not going to say this is going to be an easy thing for you to do, but if you want to kill your visceral fat, if you actually have aspirations of getting into the best shape possible, you are inevitably going to have to make at least a couple of sacrifices. Like no one's just going to hand you the results you want. You are going to have to put in the work. So number one, alcohol. Eliminate it and or replace it with different alternatives. Light alcohol, light beer, sparkling water, diet soda, tea, or green tea. Food number two that you must avoid is fried foods. Now, this isn't just about the calories. It is about what frying does to the oils that the food is cooked in. Because high heat frying creates oxidized fats and trans fats, which are the worst fats possible, that damage insulin signaling and drive inflammation in your body. And that inflammation pushes fat storage deep into the abdomen. And our research shows that trans fats preferentially increase visceral fat even when calorie intake is controlled, which is not ideal, like at all. So here's a very simple fix that you can start doing right away. You can eat the same foods, just use a different cooking method. And what that means is you could use an air fryer instead, or you could bake it, or you could grill it, or do light saute with some olive oil, right? So it's not just dieting, it's just making smarter food choices. Like whenever I cook meals now, I either poach my meals. So I either poach like for example, eggs. Instead of frying them in butter or olive oil or whatever, use a non-stick 0-calorie cooking spray. I guarantee you, by simply swapping your cooking method, you could easily save hundreds, sometimes even thousands of calories all throughout the week by making that one small little change. So once again, I either use water, I poach my eggs, which is like the cleanest way, or even like boiling them. Like boiling them is probably the cleanest way to cook your eggs. I do the same thing with chicken when I do cook chicken, but I now get my chicken delivered from a local meal prep delivery service, which I'll touch on later on in today's video. But yeah, if I do cook, I either do a non-stick cooking spray, 0 calories, and or I do like a boil or a poach. That is how I do it. And by doing that, I save hundreds, if not thousands of calories just by making that one small little swap. And again, like the things that I'm talking about in today's video are things that you can very easily do like today, starting today. You don't need to completely change your entire lifestyle or make these huge changes. You can just do one small little thing at a time. You don't have to make all these changes all at once. Just maybe start with the alcohol and replace it with some other drinks. Or if you want to start with this, very easy. Start frying your foods in oils and butters and just use a non-stick cooking spray. And when you go to a restaurant, instead of getting the fried version, get the grilled version. Like, yes, it's not going to taste the same, but once again, your taste buds will adjust. It'll be far healthier. In my opinion, it's a lot tastier. So do that. Moving on to food number 3, sugary foods. This includes cookies, candies, pastries, cakes, and sugary cereals, because all of these foods will spike insulin and bypass fullness at the same time, which is horrible, meaning that you're going to eat the food, it's going to spike your insulin, and you're not going to feel anything in terms of your satiety. You're not going to feel any fuller afterwards, which is why people tend to overeat on them. Not just because they're super tasty, but because they don't really satisfy you. You just want to keep on eating more, right? Whereas if you eat a big bowl of oatmeal, for example, or a big salad or a big fruit bowl, like you're going to feel pretty satisfied after eating that, right? But the real issue here is the fructose, because fructose is processed primarily in the liver, and excess amounts are converted directly into liver fats and visceral fat. And now this is why people can look normal weight, but still be metabolically unhealthy. So here's a simple rule that works every single time. If a food has on average more than 5 grams of added sugar per serving, it is out just during the fat loss phase. Not forever, just during the fat loss phase. A couple simple swaps here could be eating real fruit, any type of fruit, berries, Greek yogurt with berries is awesome, and or dark chocolate occasionally. Because by still having these foods that are naturally high in sugar, you will still kill your cravings and satisfy your sweet tooth without feeding visceral fat. And once again, your taste buds will adjust. I'm not saying that an apple tastes better than a donut. I am not saying that. But it's going to be far healthier for you. It's actually going to be a lot more filling for you. And if you just stick with this for 1 to 2 weeks, you're just going to start craving apples. You're going to be weird like me and say, hey, you know what? I'm actually not craving donuts anymore. I would actually far rather have an apple or a couple of berries. And I know it sounds crazy. I know I sound like an alien right now, but it is possible. I guarantee you that, because I am not special. My clients who succeed in our program, which is every single one of them, they are not special either. They are regular human beings, but we just teach them the ways. We give them the habits necessary, not just to lose the weight, but to keep the weight off for good. Moving on to food number 4, which is soda. So I would kind of put this in the same category as alcohol when it comes to liquid calories, right? Because once again, we live in a world where it cannot be easier to be obese and overweight, right? There's a reason why 75% of Americans are obese, which is a horrible stat. Because food, liquid calories, it is so easy, so easily accessible. But at the same time, at the very exact same time, all of these things can be replaced by 0-calorie alternatives. Same thing with the junk food, with the candy bars. Like you go to a gas station, grocery store nowadays, like instead of getting a Snickers bar, just get a protein bar, right? Like I'm not saying that protein bars are the healthiest thing ever, but if you were to indulge in a candy bar, I would far much rather you indulge in a protein bar. At least you're going to get some type of protein into that, right? And then same thing with soda. Instead of having a regular soda, just go for a diet soda. Please, 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 please. Because there's been so many studies shown that people who change nothing, absolutely nothing to their lifestyle other than swapping their sugary soda for a diet soda, they actually on average lose 1 to 2 pounds a week, every single week, just by making that one small little switch. And it's like, if you're not willing to do that, I mean, you don't deserve to lose your visceral fat. You don't deserve to get into better shape, because that is the easiest, lowest hanging fruit anyone can do right away. Same cost. I don't know if it's going to be cheaper or not, but it's probably going to be the same cost. You're still going to be drinking, same behavior, same everything, just less calories. So soda deserves its own category because liquid sugar bypasses pretty much everything. It bypasses the chewing process, your fullness signals, and your appetite regulation. It floods the liver with fructose and has been shown to increase visceral fat even when calories are matched to solid foods. This includes, once again, regular soda, sweet tea, lemon tea, fruit juices, all these things. And one of the fastest wins I see with all of our clients is by removing soda alone. And their waist circumference drops fast because they're on average saving hundreds of calories, thousands of calories throughout the week. And in order to lose 1 pound of fat per week, you'd have to eat 3,500 calories less on average. And you can very easily do that by just dropping the soda. And now, once again, you do not have to eliminate it. You just have to replace it with either sparkling water, diet soda, water with electrolytes, black coffee, or tea. My go-tos are black coffee and electrolytes. Just putting it out there. And then the last food here is fast food. Fast food is not just high calorie. It is also engineered, just like the hyper-palatable processed foods, to spike your dopamine, override your fullness signals. And it has this very interesting combination of fried fats, sugar, and refined carbs that just make you want to crave even more of it. This combination, it is a lethal combination. and it is a visceral fat multiplier. It increases your cravings, increases your inflammation, your insulin resistance, and makes portion control almost impossible. Now, most of you watching right now, you probably think you're lazy, and that could be true, but I want to not call you lazy. You're just eating foods that are designed to make you overeat. Like you're just making it 10 times harder on yourself. You're putting fat loss on hard mode by still eating junk food. And now here's the fix. Just instead of getting junk food, once again, there are replacements for this. Instead of ordering Uber Eats, instead of ordering a pizza, instead of going through the drive-thru, what you could do, and you will also save a bunch of money by doing this, is go to a meal prep delivery service. Any out there, anyone that's local, anyone that's national. I get my meals from Icon Meals. They deliver nationwide, and I will tell you, their meals are cheaper than fast food, they're tastier than fast food, and they're healthier than fast food. So once again, you're not making any changes to your lifestyle. You're just replacing your bad habits with a good, better, healthier habit. So if you insist on ordering food because you don't know how to cook, you don't want to cook, you're too busy, you're too lazy, whatever you want to call yourself, cool. I don't care. Here's a solution. Go to iconmeals.com, pick out your favorite meals, order them. They deliver straight to your door. You don't need to do anything cooking wise. They deliver within a couple of days. You can even use my discount code if you want to save 40% off your first order. If you want a discount code, just message me. I'll tell you, or I'll just tell you right now. It's code Cohnan. So it's literally my name, Cohnan, and you get to save 40% off your first order. You can even have a subscription where they will deliver every single week to your door. And that's all you have to do. This will save you a bunch of money, a bunch of time, and you'll drop body fat effortlessly. You're still going to be eating food. You're still going to be not cooking. And when the fast food goes and you replace it with healthy foods, your visceral fat will follow. Now, here's my biggest takeaway that I want you to gain from this video. Your diet doesn't have to be perfect. Like all of our clients who succeed, they're not on top of it all the time. And I know that for a fact. They don't track all of their food all the time. You don't need to do a keto diet. You don't need to be fasting. You don't need to do anything extreme. You just need to remove the blockers. Because when most of your calories come from whole, minimally processed foods, your body does what it is designed to do, which is burn the visceral fat. So if you want the exact system that I use with my clients to eliminate the visceral fat, all without giving up your life, spending hours in a gym, cooking all your meals, giving up your favorite foods, what you can go ahead and do is schedule a free consultation call with me down below, where we'll essentially go over your current goals, see exactly how much weight you're looking to lose, whether it's 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 50 pounds. We'll see exactly what's holding you back right now, whether it is your diet, it is the lack of accountability, lack of structure, lack of time, lack of whatever. And we'll create a game plan together to help you absolutely crush your goals in the next 3 to 6 months as we head into 2026. If that sounds good to you, the link will be in the description down below, and I'll see you all there. Peace.